Karl Malone was one of the greatest NBA players we've ever seen. A big part of this was the fact that he was paired up with John Stockton. Together, they were one of the greatest duos in sports history. They went together like LeVar Ball and Stupid Comments, like Russell Westbrook and Triple Doubles, like Kobe Bryant and NBA championships, like me and women. Alright, most of those are true. But Karl Malone was a two-time MVP and is the second leading scorer in NBA history. Before we look at where he is now, we're going to take a quick look at his life and career to see what events led him to where he is today. Karl Malone was born the youngest of 8 other kids and was raised by a single mother in Louisiana. He was raised on a farm, so he helped his family by chopping trees, hunting, and fishing, passions that he would take up for the rest of his life. And he'd obviously get into basketball and win 3 state titles in high school and then go on to attend Louisiana Tech University. While he was there, he averaged 18 points and 9 rebounds a game and would help take the small school of Louisiana Tech to the Sweet 16 one year. His great play there led him to the 1985 NBA draft, where Karl was so confident that he'd be taken by the Dallas Mavericks with the 8th pick that he already rented an apartment in Dallas. But he fell back to being taken with the 13th pick by the Utah Jazz. A move that we all know was a pretty good one, because he was teamed up with John Stockton, who was drafted the year before. In Karl's first season, he averaged 15 points and 9 rebounds a game, but in his third season is where he really took off, averaging 27 points and 12 rebounds now. Before we get into how great Karl Malone really was, back in a 1998 newspaper, it came out and said how in the 80s, Karl Malone had fought in court the fact that he had 3 children with 2 different women early in his basketball career. He had twin daughters with a woman named Benita Ford when he was 17, and a son with a girl named Gloria Bell when Karl Malone was 20, and she was only 13. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Karl fought because he didn't believe all 3 of the kids were actually his, but the tests came back and said that they were. We'll get into how that's gone for him since then in a second, but for now, in Karl Malone's career, he would win 2 MVP awards, make the All-Star game 14 times, win a gold medal on the Dream Team, win 2 All-Star game MVPs, make the All-NBA First Team 11 times, and finished his NBA career off averaging 25 points and 10 rebounds a game. Stockton and Malone would lead the Utah Jazz to one of the best records in the NBA for several seasons and make the NBA Finals 2 straight years, but lose to Jordan and the Bulls both times. Together, Malone and Stockton would finish 3rd and 4th on the list of most career games played, with Karl playing 1,476 games in his career. That, along with the fact that he averaged 25 points a game, put him as the 2nd leading scorer in NBA history, with 36,928 points. After joining the Lakers for 1 season, and considering joining the Spurs, Karl Malone would officially retire from the NBA on February 13th, 2005. So where is he now? And now is where we get back to Karl Malone's kids. Since retiring, Karl Malone's kids have gotten a good amount of success and gotten some good genes from their dad. Out of Karl Malone's 4 children that he originally knew were his, one of them, KJ Malone, is a left tackle for the LSU Tigers. And out of the 2 twins that he later discovered were his, they both went to Karl's old college, Louisiana Tech, and one of them, Cheryl Ford, went on to have a career in the WNBA. Karl's accepted them as part of his family and keeps up a good relationship with them today. But as for Demetrius Bell, the son who was born when Karl was 20 and his mom was 13, has gone on to play in the NFL. He's played for the Bills, Cowboys, and the Eagles. And Karl maintained a good relationship with all of his kids except Bell. After Bell graduated high school, he met up with Malone and was told that it was too late for them to have a father-son relationship. And that was the only time they ever spoke. So it's safe to say that even though Karl was a great basketball player, he might not be the best person. For a man that grew up without a father, to treat one of his own children the same way, it's pretty messed up. But away from his kids, in 2006, the Utah Jazz retired Karl Malone's number 32 jersey and unveiled a bronze statue of him outside of the Utah Jazz's arena. At the unveiling, he said that himself and John Stockton don't mind that they didn't win an NBA championship and that he doesn't regret joining the Lakers for his last season in the NBA. In 2010, Karl was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, where he gave a humble speech and said that if it wasn't for his coaches, teammates, and family, he wouldn't have made it to the NBA, so they played just as big of a part of his success as he did. John Stockton attended Karl Malone's Hall of Fame induction, but Malone didn't attend Stockton's a year earlier because his stepdad was on life support. But thankfully, John held no grudges and texted all day to make sure everything was okay. And Malone surprised Stockton by making it to the Hall of Fame dinner the next night. To this day, Stockton and Malone maintain a great friendship. They're always still talking and they see each other a few times a year. But away from basketball, he never really takes any downtime. Malone's been on the board of directors for the NRA, spends a lot of his time fishing and hunting, and is an owner of Eskimo's Ice Cream and Arby's, and a restaurant called Teriyaki Grill that he likes to cook at whenever he stops by. But that's not all. Even though Karl Malone made over $100 million from just his NBA salary, he stays busy all the time, owning a 230-acre cattle ranch, 3 Jiffy Lube locations, 2 Burger King franchises, a used car outlet, 2 condos, is working on getting his own outdoor show, is a radio host, and owns a few thousand acres of land in Louisiana that he uses to harvest trees. He keeps himself busy with all these things and is continuing to buy and own more business investments every day. As hard as he worked on the basketball court, he's working just as hard or even harder off the court. Most of the businesses that he opens and takes a part of in running are jobs that he wanted to do as a child. So instead of only being a basketball player for his career, he's on a path of trying out all of his childhood dream jobs. And in 2017, when asked about NBA teams resting players, he said, "Unless you have 10 years experience, get your to playing." He said police officers and firefighters don't get to rest, so they shouldn't either. Karl played pretty much every game of his NBA career, so you can see why he'd think this way. And most recently, he's been seen supporting his daughter's craft and painting stand at a Louisiana flea market. He's a huge family man, for most of his family, and spends most of his time with them and supporting them. There's more to come with Karl Malone's success off the court because he stays busy every single day and has a true passion for being an entrepreneur. And this has been what Karl Malone has been as of 2017. So if you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video coming soon.